Put your finger on the share button. Get ready to share this one to your neighbors, your friends, your family. It's not the amount of tax you're paying that's a problem, Canada. It's the entire taxation system. Welcome to Bakes on Things, the first sip. We are exposing it all today, and everyone needs to see this. Let me tell you something. Canada, every politician in Ottawa hopes you never take the time to understand this episode. I promise you this. Because once you do understand what we're about to talk about, once you see the numbers clearly, once you compare our system to other major countries, you will suddenly realize it's not just that Canada has some of the highest taxes in the world. It's that Canada has one of the most unfairly structured tax systems in the entire developed world itself. And I'm not talking about ideology. I'm not talking left versus right. I'm not talking rich people bad or pay your fair share, those quotes that we always get. I'm talking about the math behind it, the mechanics underneath what you see, and the structure. The quiet levers behind the scenes that the CRA pulls that squeeze every working Canadian while pretending to be fair or indexed to inflation or designed to help families. So today, we're going to dive right into this, the brand new CRA breakdown for 2026 taxes, and I'm going to show you why this is not normal, why other countries don't do it like this, they don't process taxes this way, and why Canadians are being played by a tax system that looks progressive on paper when they show it to you, but in actual practice makes you poorer year after year. This one isn't about tax rates, folks. This one is about the rigged mechanics that get you every time. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things, the first sip. I'm Chris Baker. Don't forget to grab your coffee, your tea for this one. This is an important one, folks. This one's going to need the share button. Everyone knows Canada has high taxes. We rank among the highest in the OECD on personal income taxes for average earners. But most Canadians don't know that the real damage isn't just the rate of taxes that you pay, that you see on your tax return. It's the structure that built behind those rates that causes the actual problem for you. It's the way the system is built so that benefits phase out aggressively, punishing you and your family for earning more. Credits shrink if you cross invisible lines, and payroll deductions scale faster than your wage actually grows. It's designed this way. Inflation indexing is rigged to the government's advantage, and almost no tax relief is automatic in Canada. Everything has hoops, it has forms to fill out, it has clawbacks if you screw it up, and it has penalties attached whether you misunderstood the terms or not. This is why you can get a raise from your employer in Canada and literally feel actually poorer the next day. This is why people making 75 to 120K feel more broke than ever. This is why middle class in Canada is now just a fancy word for tax donkey. What we're going to do today is we are going to walk through all of it for you. And I'm going to make it very simple, not filled with numbers, not crazy terms or any government speak. We're going to talk basics. So tax brackets to start, especially indexed, but only just enough to look fair. What do I mean by that? Well, the CRA indexed next year's brackets by 2%. But as we know, inflation grew more than that. Inflation didn't grow 2%. Your cost of living didn't grow 2%. Rent, groceries, utilities, insurance, mortgages, none of that grew just 2%. It all grew a lot more, especially if you're part of the new mortgage renewal crisis. But magically, the one number the government somehow controls grows exactly 2%. And Canadians are supposed to say, well, thank you, Mr. Carney? Definitely not, because nobody else is like this around the world. Let me go to the US for a second. Compare this to the US, where bracket indexing automatically adjusts to actual inflation, not a cherry-picked calculation. For example, in 2023 and 24, when inflation in the US jumped, American tax brackets jumped as well, over 7% and 5% in both of those years to protect taxpayers. But here, The CRA uses a smooth CPI, they call it, a baked-in, understated version of inflation, a smaller version of than actual inflation that benefits one person, and that person is your federal government. It's the CRA. So right off the top, before you earn even a single dollar, before you claim a single credit, your bracket is already undervalued for the year, meaning more of your income gets pushed into higher tax brackets and rates. That's the illusion here. You think you're making more money, but you're actually starting to make less. How is that possible? Well, we have to start with the basic personal amount credit. You see this when you sign up with your employer, a credit designed to disappear when you need it most. The CRA is always bragging about raising the basic personal amount. They did it again for 2026 to $16,452. It sounds great until you realize the truth, which is that it shrinks once you earn around $181K. It shrinks for the exact people paying the overwhelming share of taxes. It is not an exemption, it's a non-refundable credit. So you are exempt from nothing. Lower income Canadians actually can't fully use it because it's just a tax credit. And unlike countries like Australia, where the tax-free threshold is actually tax-free, and it's a clean $18,200, which is simple, universal, not clawed back, not tied to a political agenda, Canada's version is a moving target every year with income tests attached to it. Make too much and you don't get it anymore. It's not relief, it's a coupon with a lot of fine print. Then we shift over to the CPP and EI you pay through your employer every year. It's a hidden tax, and it's a hidden tax hike where no one is really talking about it. It's just automatic every year. We've got to start talking about it because every year the government quietly increases CPP and EI maximums. Every year your deductions go up. Every year your take-home pay then goes, you guessed it, down even if your employer gives you a raise. Now this happens even if tax rates stay the same. It's a way to get more money from you without raising your taxes. The CRA's 2026 numbers prove this. They make it even worse. CPP maximum earnings have now risen to $74,600. EI premiums are increasing again as well. And now for the third year in a row, we have a second CPP tier that it now exists. It's unique to Canada. No other country does it this way. Self-employed Canadians, they pay double the CPP at nearly 12% because they're responsible for both the employer and employee contributions. Compare that with the United States, for example, where Social Security is capped at a much lower rate for employees. Medicare tax, they don't even have health care paid for, doesn't have two tiers. And self-employed deductions, they've built offsets and credits to reduce the pain, not make it worse. In other words, Americans don't get crushed twice by taxes. But in Canada, if you're self-employed, the system treats you like a spare to ATM for Ottawa. And that is a scary, scary thought for anyone trying to venture out on their own and start their own business. And boy, are you guys great for doing that. Now, you can, of course, incorporate, and that can make things better. But let's shift over to the child benefit, a maze of clawbacks that punish ambition. Here's another trick Canada uses that other countries avoid. They're called stacked clawbacks. Now, what is this? Yeah, you're right. It's you. It's Canada. The Canada child benefit goes up 2%. But at a certain income level, just above $38,000 a year, it starts to disappear. Then it disappears again and again and again. The moment your salary climbs, you are punished with an effective tax rate far higher than your bracket because other things like child tax benefit you're losing at the same time. Those benefits go down or disappear, which acts like another tax. Compare this to Germany, where child benefits are universal, no matter what you make. No multi-layer clawback. Or the UK system, where the clawbacks exist, but they apply at a far higher income and are structured more predictably. Canada's child benefit is not designed to reward you as a family. It's designed to keep them dependent families and trapped within certain income ranges. The moment you get more ambitious and start to earn more, the more they take out of that child tax benefit. Sorry, families, but now you make too much money. Let's use this as a tax. What you were used to before, you don't get that anymore. So your income doesn't really truly grow. Okay, our savings vehicles. RSP limits only slightly, right? That only goes up slightly. TFSA limits frozen again at $7,000 for next year. But here's the real kicker with all of these. These are political numbers, not economic ones. If you compare the limits to the RSPs and the TFSAs to, say, Australia, Australia's got superannuation. If you've never heard of it, it allows huge pre-tax contributions to your retirement in Australia. They want you to retire wealthy. In the US, 401ks, which allow nearly double the annual RRSP limit for many workers, exist today. And UK ISAs, well, their tax-free savings account essentially is 33,000 Canadian dollars per year. Canada is not generous. Canada is highly restrictive. The government wants your money flowing to them, not into your savings. And this is where we lose every time. And then, boy, oh boy, do we smash our seniors. Oh my goodness. With the OAS clawbacks, the senior tax trap that's built in here is really disgusting for our older generations. The OAS clawback threshold for 2026 is $95,353. You'd think that's not too bad. That sounds high until you realize it's not indexed fairly. Many middle-class seniors cross it because of inflation, and it imposes yet another invisible tax on modest retirement income. Most countries don't claw back their basic senior benefits at all, at any level, whether it's $95,000, $150,000, or $200,000. But Canada does, aggressively too, because it needs the revenue to match the spending that our governments, typically liberal, end up using. They need your money, and that's the way they get it. So how do other countries do it better? That's what you're probably sitting here asking. Okay, Chris, you've given some examples. You've knocked the hell out of ours. Well, here's the part that needs to go viral in all of this. Other countries aren't just taxing less. They're taxing smarter. They've built their systems in a much better way. The United States, the brackets jump automatically with inflation, as we said earlier. No political math tricks. Payroll taxes, they're already lower anyway. Benefits aren't clawed back at every income level. They are much higher tiered, and middle-class effective tax rates are dramatically lower as well. In the United Kingdom, universal credits for families, they don't disappear. They're not disappearing credits by any income level. Clear, simple thresholds to meet, and far larger tax-free savings contribution limits that allows you to actually grow your savings for retirement rather than restrict it. In Australia, a big, clean, tax-free threshold we told you about, a retirement system built to reward your contributions, low payroll taxes, no CPP-style double punishments. And then you move over to Germany, strong family benefits that don't vanish the moment you earn more. There's also a system in place where it's a system designed to support upward mobility, not to punish it. So if you move up in your career, you can actually do better on your taxes. Canada is the outlier on all of these countries. Canada is the global anomaly. Canada is the country that designed a tax system not to help you earn more, but to make sure you never feel the benefit of earning more. That's why you never feel like you're doing well here. That's why your boss gives you a 10 or 15% raise. Most people it's 2 or 3% probably, and you don't feel like you earn anything new. It's because of Canada. It's because of the way we've built the tax system here. Canada's tax system is built to keep you where you are, not where you're going. You can work harder, you can get promoted, you can earn a raise, and the government will always make sure you feel like nothing changed because they want their piece of your new pie. Because the system is designed that the bracket doesn't grow with the real cost of living, so that deductions go up faster than your wages do, so that benefits get clawed back the moment you start getting ahead. so that you never see the full value of your own productivity. I met someone who said they got a 3% raise, but we raised CPP and EI limits to 3% each year. That erased the raise entirely. And when you combine all of what I've said here today with high income tax rates, high sales taxes, high payroll contributions, high industrial carbon taxes, high municipal taxes, and high user fees plus levies and everything else we've talked about in other episodes that are added that aren't even called taxes but truly are, you have a system that looks progressive on paper but is absolutely regressive to the average Canadian in practice. So here's my final word on this for you this morning. Please share this information. People need to understand how this tax system works so that our politicians and our future politicians can change it. This isn't about where you are on the left or the right. This isn't about the rich versus the poor in this country. This is about a tax system that treats Canadians like livestock to be milked in slow, predictable cycles. It's about a very corrupt Canada Revenue Agency. It's about a tax structure designed around government needs, not around your taxpayer realities. It's about a structure that punishes ambition, punishes productivity, punishes entrepreneurship, and punishes family. Other countries have high taxes too, there's no doubt, but they don't punish people on the way up. Canada does, and that's atrocious. And until Canada, and until Canadians ourselves, wake up to how the mechanics of our taxes work, not just the rates, we're going to keep getting squeezed, 1 year at a time, while being told we should feel grateful for the systems that we have. How long did you wait the last time at your emergency room? It's time to call this what it is, a system built to hold Canadians down while pretending to lift them up. What do you think? Put this in the comments down below. Did you only think of our tax system before this episode as your tax rate, as your tax brackets? If you did, you're not alone. It's designed that way, so you don't notice how the other pieces of the system work. Think about it this way. You get a raise, like I mentioned that person getting a 3% raise. Here's your 3% raise, okay? Now, your taxes didn't change. You didn't change tax brackets, so your same taxes, in theory, you're making more than. You're making 3% more. However, when the government at the beginning of each year goes 1 to 3% higher on your CPP and EI limits, especially if you're somebody where your brackets have exceeded in, say, in June, August, October, whenever it is, and you're finished with CPP and EI, if that also went up 2 or 3%, then you've lost most of this raise again, in which case you're right back where you started. Welcome to Canada. And that's only CPP and EI I'm bringing up. Then you talk about, oh, you changed salary. Let's also take away some of your child tax benefit. Now you've got increased CPP and EI. You've got a deduction or a reduction of your child benefit. Now your 3% raise is minus 2%. That's how it works. That's scary. Let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, of course, as well. And, of course, please share this video. Let's get this out there. Our tax system is messed up. All right, we will leave it there. We'll see you this afternoon on The Last Word. Have yourselves a wonderful Thursday. We'll catch you later today.